Hey guys, it's Jennifer Party. I thought I would make a short video today and say a little bit about some energies that are going on. There's a lot going on actually right now in this month, some pretty intense themes, but I want to start with two really obvious ones. And obviously, most obviously, this channel is called Venus Loves You, and I've been following the Venus cycle. Now, I personally am going to keep following the Venus cycle. I'm not sure if I'm going to post through all of the Venus evening star. I haven't decided yet. But if you are interested in it and in following along with me, and I could do that because I plan to keep working with the Venus cycles for the foreseeable future for myself. Personally, it's part of my astrological and spiritual practice. So when last I left an update for you guys, it was when Venus met up with the Sun. I believe that was the last time. And that was in Gemini about 2 months ago. Venus met up with the Sun. And last week, she became visible again as the evening star. Now, when a planet like Venus, or any planet really, actually, even including the Moon, gets 15 degrees away from the Sun, that's when we can see it. If it is within 15 degrees of the Sun, roughly, depends for each planet, but within 15 degrees of the Sun, that planet is not visible. It is hidden by the light of the Sun. So Venus just emerged from her 15 degree orb that she's had for the last, since sometime in April, like for the last almost 4 months. She has undergone this period where she met up with the Sun. She joined with the Sun in Gemini, and now she is just, for the first time, visible again this past week. And one thing that I think is very interesting about the Venus cycle and all the beautiful symmetrical things about it is that she became visible again around 20 something, maybe around 23, 21, 22, 23 degrees of Leo, which is the same decan where she met up with the Sun last year, which is, I just think is so wonderful. That where she had the Cazimi last year during the Venus retrograde, that is where she became visible again this year as evening star, having gone through a whole other journey of invisibility and having met up with the Sun again. It's so cool that we have a little bit of a flashback to what was happening during the Venus retrograde last summer. So that's interesting to me. We've been integrating and maybe reviewing some of those Venus and Leo themes. And in addition to that, being in high Leo seasons, where what some people call the Lion's Gate at the beginning of August. We just had Lunasa as well, if you celebrate pagan holidays. And a time very much that is solar. Leo season is very solar. We just also had the new moon in Leo yesterday. And the moon goes through a similar process, obviously much, much shorter. It's not a period of months, it's a period of just a couple of days, where the moon is invisible and under the bonds. That's what we call it when it's within 15 degrees of the Sun, is that, that it's under the bonds. And this happens every new moon. So like the day before the new moon, the moon is under the bonds. And then we have the new moon, and then it is still chained to the Sun, so to speak, and invisible for like another day, roughly. And then the moon is released from the bonds when it goes past 15 degrees. So the moon has also just recently escaped the bonds. And I think it's beautiful that as the moon is escaping the bonds, the first planet that it meets up with is Venus. And it is in Virgo, which is not Venus's favorite sign, shall we say. She's considered in detriment in Virgo, but she's still excited, I think, about being newly visible, and the moon is as well, and it's really nice to see them meeting up. So, if you guys were following along with the journey of Venus last year, if you watched my videos, or earlier this year as well, when I went through her descent as the morning star, and going with the story of Inanna as she descends through 7 gates to meet her dark sister Ereshkigal. This is the point, now that Venus is visible again and meeting up with the moon, this is the point where she is resurrected, so to speak, where she gets to begin her ascent as evening star, where she begins to reclaim her power, and instead of just being the queen of heaven as she was before she descended, she is, now that she has descended, met the dark sister, like worked through some material, some shadow material, now is the time where she can start ascending again to be the queen of not just heaven, but the queen of heaven and earth. So, we begin our ascent. We're in Virgo. This is actually where we began our descent last year. So we begin our ascent, and we are at the bottom gate. So that's the root chakra. So, I feel like this is so poignant. There's so much going on astrologically, and I'm trying not to tackle everything at once, but it's so poignant because we are going through, I think, a time where, for, shall we say, for lots of astrological reasons right now, we are going through a time where we're assessing our priorities. And being, at the root chakra, this actually reminds me a bit of some Saturn themes that are going on right now, because Saturn is squaring Mars and Jupiter. Being at the root chakra, we need to think about where is our safety and security? How much do we feel grounded in our sense of self? And where do we have triggers to that sense of safety and security? So that's all I'm going to say about some of that in regards to other astrological themes that we're working out with Mars and Jupiter squaring Saturn. But security and the structures of the energetic body are so important. And also not getting stuck in an old, outmoded way of being. So don't be surprised right now as we're dealing with like root chakra issues because Venus is at that gate, but also because of other things that are happening. Don't be surprised, if these old things come up and you feel a little dizzy or confused. Like, what is true for me now, and is it what's been true for me in the past? Is there stuff from the past that I actually still need to work through, or is this outmoded? And you might not know the answer yet, and that's okay, because a lot of this month is going to be about processing, and we need to give ourselves time to process. Now, another reason for this is, as some of you guys might be aware of, is another layer, is that Mercury just turned retrograde today. Mercury, which is the ruler of Virgo. So the ruler of the moon and of Venus is Mercury. Mercury's turning retrograde, and he's like, ooh, we've got some details we need to clear up. We've got some Virgoan details that are not entirely worked out here. And Mercury is going to go back into Leo for a while and meet up with the sun in Leo. So issues of the expansion of solar consciousness versus the nitty-gritty details and feeling earthy, rooted, and grounded. I would say that's where we are right now. That's where the finger is on the pulse. Is what do you need to feel safe and to attend to the details of your mind, body, and life to be healthy, coherent, supported? And in doing this, can we release old stories in order to grow our hearts, shore up our foundations, allow more love, energy, and power to flow into that root chakra, grounding ourselves in goodness rather than the old doubts and insecurities. And because those doubts and insecurities are going to come up, can we attend to those with love and heal them? So that's what's going on right now. It's a lot of stuff, but with Venus being our main theme on this channel, or at least that has been what I've been following and posting about here. Now is a time to just pause, go inward, begin that reassessment. What is it that you need on that base, secure level? And have some of your needs changed? Also dancing between the earthiness of Virgo and the solar consciousness of the sun. All right. And then, of course, the old and new ways of being, Jupiter versus Saturn. Mars and Jupiter versus Saturn. That's a big theme, too. And also tied up with the Mercury retrograde. Be patient, guys. Things are going to be a little messy for a little bit this month. There's going to be some challenges coming up, but there's also wonderful opportunities for release, healing, expansion, working through old stories, and claiming new power. So bring mindfulness and love to your everyday. Make sure you get the grounding support that you need. And be kind to yourselves and others. Okay? I will see you more soon. And I hope you're all well. Sending lots of love.